Just announced, Princess Leonor's emotional royal wedding will change Spanish history. It's official. The royal wedding of Princess Leonor has just been confirmed, and what happened at the royal altar left the entire nation in tears. Today, Spain witnessed something it hasn't seen in over a century: an heir to the throne, a future queen, choosing love in a way that will be remembered for generations. Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor, the daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, has just had the most emotional royal wedding the country has ever seen. Everything about this moment was historic. Not just because it marks the first time a Spanish queen-in-waiting has married in modern democratic Spain, but because of how Leonor chose to honor her family, her people, and her heart. From the moment the official announcement was made by Casa Real earlier this morning, flags were raised across the country, church bells rang out in cities from Oviedo to Seville, and Spaniards gathered around their televisions and phones, waiting to catch their first glimpse of their future queen in her wedding dress. And when she emerged, everything stopped. Leonor de Bourbon, radiant in a gown that blended tradition and quiet rebellion, stepped into the sunlight holding tightly to her father's arm. King Felipe looked visibly emotional, his eyes glistening, his hand trembling slightly as he walked his daughter toward the cathedral steps. But it wasn't just the gown or the royal setting that moved people, it was the love between Princess Leonor and the man waiting for her at the altar. His Royal Highness Prince Christian of Denmark, already deeply loved by the Spanish people, stood there with a quiet awe, unable to look away as Leonor approached. He did not look at the cameras. He looked only at her. The ceremony was filled with moments of overwhelming humanity. Leonor's voice cracked slightly as she recited her vows in front of heads of state, monarchs, and her own people. Queen Letizia wiped away tears more than once. Even King Felipe, usually reserved, could be seen holding his hand over his heart as the couple exchanged rings. The vows themselves were deeply personal. They had written them together, alternating between Spanish and Danish, a symbol of the unity they are building between two nations, and a reminder that this marriage isn't only romantic, it's historic. Leonor didn't just marry for herself. She married with Spain in her heart. But there was one moment that will likely be replayed for years, one moment that changed everything. After they were declared husband and wife, Leonor turned to the crowd gathered outside the cathedral. And with her hand in Christian's, she spoke directly to the people of Spain. "I stand here not just as your princess, but as your future queen. And today, I make you this vow: I will always choose you. I will always choose Spain." The crowd erupted. People wept in the streets. Children waved Spanish and Danish flags side by side. Elderly couples clutched each other and whispered, "Esta es nuestra reina." This is our queen. What many people didn't know until that moment was that this wedding almost didn't happen this year. Behind the scenes, Leonor had quietly delayed any public declaration for months, torn between her duty to the crown and her private longing to marry the man who had stood by her through years of scrutiny and service. But it was her father, King Felipe, who gave her the final blessing. Sources close to the palace say that during a private family dinner weeks ago, Felipe took Leonor's hand and said, "You have done everything we could have asked of you. Now it is time to live your own story." And so, the heir to the Spanish throne married not just a prince, but a partner, someone who has promised to stand beside her not just in palace halls, but in the difficult years of leadership ahead. The reception was equally moving. The couple chose to hold it not in Madrid's royal palace, but in a quiet countryside estate just outside Segovia, a place that held deep meaning for Leonor from childhood. Only 100 guests were invited. The dinner was intimate, heartfelt, and filled with music from both cultures. At one point, Prince Christian took the microphone and, in nearly flawless Spanish, toasted Leonor's parents. "To the king and queen who raised a leader with strength and heart. And to the woman who now carries both forward." But perhaps the most symbolic moment of the day came later in the evening, when Princess Leonor changed from her formal gown into a simpler white dress and removed her royal jewels, choosing instead to wear a bracelet that Christian had given her when they were just 18, a simple silver chain with one inscription: Fidelite. Loyalty. That one word has defined everything about this royal love story. Because what the world saw today wasn't just a royal wedding. It was a declaration of trust, of unity, and of future leadership grounded in love. This isn't a fairy tale made for tabloids, this is a future queen stepping into her destiny, with someone who knows the weight of what she carries and has chosen to carry it with her. Spanish history will remember this day. Not for its glamour, though it had plenty. Not for its guests, though they included royals from across Europe, presidents, and global dignitaries. But because today, the Spanish people saw something real. They saw their future queen choose love, loyalty, and service, not just in word, but in action. As of this hour, Casa Real has not announced the official title Leonor will assume as a married woman, nor whether she and Prince Christian will reside primarily in Spain or Denmark. But sources say that the couple intends to spend their first months of marriage traveling through Spanish regions, meeting with youth organizations and community leaders, building the very relationships Leonor hopes to carry into her reign. And the response from the people has been overwhelming. Florists across Spain ran out of white roses, the flower most associated with Leonor. Churches held special bells tolls in her honor. In Leon, her namesake region, thousands gathered for a spontaneous candlelight procession. And in Denmark, Prince Christian's home country, citizens took to the streets with celebration. The Danish royal family released a statement saying they are deeply honored to welcome a daughter of Spain into our hearts and home. But most of all, today proved something powerful, that even in an age of doubt and division, the right kind of love, quiet, faithful, committed, can still inspire a country. Princess Leonor didn't just get married today. She wrote a new chapter in the history of Spain. And the world will never forget it. Because in the hearts of the people, she's not just a royal bride. She is, already, their queen.